This is a set of glutes exercises. We're doing this one today actually because we were asked, or I was asked about some glute exercises, most especially somebody who already had an amazing physique but wanted a bigger bum, so they wanted to build their glutes basically. So I'm going to look at this from the point of view of glute exercises with own body weight, because right now, if you're watching this as we're releasing it, then we're still experiencing this kind of corona lockdown. So a lot of everything that we've done has all been kind of no equipment, but I'm going to show you no equipment versions of what's basically the same exercises. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at how some of this equipment would come in, especially a band, because if you remember in the beginning of lockdown, you couldn't order or buy anything, but I think the speed at which you can get something nowadays is quite good, and these are useful for the park and everything. I've got a bench, but remember, seats at home, sofa at home, park bench, tree stump, all will suffice. So let's have a look at these glutes exercises basically. We have a couple that we're going to look at. So we're going to be looking at what's basically a donkey kick. Yeah, so own body weight's nice and simple, nice and neutral. Going to lift that heel up. You see that thigh bone heading backwards? When we talk about glutes, they do a lot of things. They do this as well, kind of lateral movement. So we should look at that as well. But essentially, this is called extension, and the thigh extending backwards is very much a function of the glutes. Yeah. You will naturally feel like you kind of need to move your back just a little bit, as long as you're not like really sort of creating a huge dip that's kind of making your back uncomfortable. That's fine. But remember, try not to create movement in your back where instead you can have contraction of the glutes and movement of the thigh. Yeah, so dead simple, that one. We can adapt that with the band. So even if we don't have any weight, what we can do is we can take the band. I'm going to put it around my foot that I want to push up with, and I'm going to put this hand down on the floor. So look here. I'm going to get my foot through it. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm going to put this back here near my heel, put a bit of tension on. And then I'm going to put my fist down, because this gives me a strong position from which to hold this. And then I'm going to get this hand there, which just sort of balances me off, but also gives me more resistance to my own strength from the heel. And then I'm going to donkey kick. But now, this green band is really quite stiff, got quite a lot of work. And you may, even by changing how much you've got pulled through, or how far back you are, you can change the intensity. You may find that you're even able to get that down underneath a 10 rep failure, that actually you can hit a 5 or 6 rep failure. There are stiffer bands than this even. But you've got a donkey kick, and that was how to apply the resistance from the band. So I'm going to put that against the heel, quickly show you one more time. There we go, that's on the heel. I told you that I like a fist, and I like to square my body over it. So if I don't have that second hand down, it slightly twist up how my body's functioning. But if I get this arm on there, then it's much more natural. Yeah? There we go. Nice. So we've done donkey kicks with and without the band. Next, let's have a look at split squat. So split squat is a classic kind of runner's exercise. It's one of the best strength exercises there is, very functional, very easy to take up in the intensity as well, because you're on the one leg, and it does target the glutes really well. So there are other muscles that are going to work, but the glutes are going to get targeted. So I'm going to hit this quickly because we've actually covered it in another video, but foot is back here, nice and neutral, and you're going to effect a squat, chest up, hips go back. Yeah, heel of the foot on the floor. Really concentrate on that to get the glute to work, the pelvis driving forwards. Keep chest up, nice and neutral. Your body has to kind of travel backwards, so you don't want to be all over the foot at the front. You'll be back on the heel, hips back, and you'll really feel the glutes working. Fantastic glutes exercise. How to apply the bands to it. This is another one that works really, really well. Pop it around your neck. And then what you're going to do is put that under your heel. Remember, heel is quite important here. So if you have a look, you don't need to hurt your neck. Yeah? When you stand up, push up through the heel. Yeah? And then you're going to just do the same thing. So you're going to put that other leg back, and then you're going to head back. And when you drive up, you now have the added resistance of the band. So you can actually really load those glutes as though you were holding dumbbells out in the park with the band. Yeah? Or if you don't have dumbbells. Again, there are stiffer bands than this. There we go. Really, with the hip, with this, you want to go right back there. You know, get that hip travelling backwards. Nice shape here. Don't be over the ball of the foot, or it will be quite heel. Drive that pelvis in. With split squat, watch the back leg. Keep it relaxed. Yeah. Don't push into the bench with it. Just sort of you use it. You may get some help with balance from the contact, but don't allow tension to build up. And that is split squat, another good glute one. Then we're going to have a look at another glutes exercise. This one, park bench, everywhere else you could do it. So far. But is you're just going to rest here, let the hips down, and then drive up. Let the hips down and drive up. You can, of course, be on one leg. Create more work in the glutes. It's very functional. The other band exercises, what I've given you is a way to create the failure at a lower rep point, you know, to turn it into a 10 rep or a 6 rep failure. I've seen this done in the gym with bands where they're locked down, usually with a heavy dumbbell either side, to make a really, really nice glutes exercise. You see it a lot with a barbell or a dumbbell in the crease of the hips. I'll show you with the dumbbell. And that can add load. This, I guess, has a place in today's video where we're trying to come up with things for we may not have equipment, because anything that's heavy that you can put there is viable, basically. So could be like a 5-litre bottle of water, if you can get it to balance, basically. But if we look again at that position, this is a 20-kilo dumbbell. I'm going to get down, upper torso is against the bench. I'm going to move it nice and carefully, and then I can put that across my hips, and then I can go through the exercise. And I think for your purposes, you can imagine that this were a 5-litre water bottle. One leg we can do. You're going to want to put the load slightly over your point of balance. Yeah? But again, you can isolate that, and you're going to get down in those lower rep ranges. Can be done with a band that way, but then you really need something to pin it down. So I would say 5-litre bottle of water would be how to load that glutes exercise. So there you go, we've got 3 glutes exercises. You've got the donkey kick, split squat, which is a bit compound, but very, very, very focused on the glutes. And then we've got this kind of glute bridge dip exercise, and we've said, just load it.